Okay. I will let you know that you probably noticed if you're on Microsoft Teams from here on, that Microsoft has now, with their authentication deal, they're now having you put in letters in order to get into Microsoft Teams.
Oh.
They've changed the concept now. So well, you all know that in this committee, we have our opinions, disagree or agree. Please let your opinions known on how you feel when we go down the agenda. First, on our, who's doing the PowerPoint?
Me.
Okay, go down to the next one, James.
Yep.
The icebreaker today would be, what are your summer plans? I'll start out. This is George, co-chair. Mine would have to be, it would have to be being in my wheelchair, taking pictures to the wildlife on trails.
Mm.
And if that doesn't work, then I'll got a friend and his wife will take me out to the ocean on the Oregon coast and take pictures. Okay, let's go with Maria.
Hello, good morning. Maria Park, Senior Program Manager at Asian Health and Service Center. Let's see here. I'm also co-chair, and I'm probably going to go on some road trips with the family, either to like California or kind of towards like Utah. Yeah.
Nice.
I will pass it to Judith.
Oh, thanks. Well, I don't have any summer plans, but summer is really the time of year that I spend redesigning in my yard. I wasn't this kind of person, but as my dear beloved passed on, this became my passion, is to grow things but I have to do it on a very low budget. And that's my plans. Oh, but today, the reason why I was 2 minutes late, in my backyard, our deer family had a family of deers, little babies, and the baby is now old enough to be on her own, and she's been left because all the mommy girls have gone off to find boy girls or have babies. And so today, as I was coming in here, I noticed my little weenie dog, who is blind, meandering in the backyard towards the deer, and the deer kick hard. They can easily just do damage to little dogs, and he's out there. He's deaf as a post and blind and doing his usual thing, and she's just watching him, and then he moves and she follows him. I was so glad when he came in the house. But that was an interesting little, you don't hurt me, I don't hurt you. Okay, that's me. Next will be Susan Garcia.
I am Susan Garcia with the Community Health Centers of Lane County. I'm a community partner, and my son just joined a club soccer team, so we have to travel to Washington and Idaho for games, so that's pretty much my life now. So next, I guess I'll call on is it April?
I don't have any summer plans. We're going to Maui next week.
Oh, that's no summer plans. Excuse me. Jeez.
And then just sticking around Bend for the remainder of the summer. Just reading books and going swimming and working like a chump. Maria, have you gone? Did you already go?
Are there 2 Marias?
Okay, Paul.
I think there's 2 Marias.
2 Marias? Okay. How about Maria Park?
Maria Gonzalez.
Maria Gonzalez.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
There we go.
Okay. Well, I put mine in the chat, but we've been living in this house for about 2 years in November. And last year I really wanted to do a veggie garden, but I couldn't because of all the fixes that we had to do inside the house. And this year we finally were able to start that. So I'm really excited to spend some time in my veggie garden this year. So this
Oh, yeah.
summer. So yeah, we have a lot of things going on and growing there. They look beautiful.
Are your tomatoes in?
Yes, they're there and they have lots of flowers. So I'm really hoping for like a big batch of tomatoes there. And it's just very exciting for me. It's like one day you're young and then the next day you're the plant lady.
I know. So true.
So yes. And then we're also getting some chickens because my husband is building a chicken coop. So we're getting some chickens.
Oh.
So eggs are so expensive nowadays that it's having chickens, it's like having gold.
Yeah, and there, yeah. You're gonna name
So-
your chickens Henrietta.
Yes. So those are my plans for the summer.
Okay, Dion, what about you?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Dion with the ODHS, and I just kind of set my summer plans. So I'm actually driving to Las Vegas in July to visit my parents and celebrate my mom's retirement at 74. So she's definitely earned it. And then in August, just booked my flights for a trip to Kauai. So I'll also be going to Hawaii this summer.
Oh, and Kauai is so nice.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing, and then the pictures and kind of doing research. It's a beautiful
Yeah,
island. So
it
yeah.
is. It is.
And then I'll kick it over to Paul. I don't think you've gone yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
All right.
Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of big plans. My big plans have started this last weekend. I am vacating up my duplex and moving into a home. So that is going to be occupying a lot of my time for the summer. So I may do some day trips and different things of that nature, but nothing big.
Is
And I'm
this
okay
your
with that.
Is this your first house, Paul?
No. We're just we moved over from Clackamas to Idaho about 2 years ago, and the plan wasn't to stop in Idaho, and we ended up in Idaho. And so now we're just upgrading and getting out of the duplex and moving into a house. So
Yeah. Good for you.
thank you. I appreciate that. Let's kick it over to, how about Sam? Is Sam here?
I am here. Thanks, Paul. Let me see. My summer plans. Well, longtime members of the committee will know that I'm a Girl Scout troop leader. So we've had a couple of exciting, fun things come up for Girl Scouts this summer, and that's the bulk of my summer plans. First of all, apparently in the state of Oregon, we did not sell enough cookies. The council has too many leftover cookies, so they're doing cookie season 2, I guess.
Oh, yay.
I know, right?
I hope they do that here in Salem.
There will be, it's going to be more like neighborhood walkarounds and like lemonade stand style, Judith. You won't find girls at like the Freddies. We're not able to get those booths again, but it'll be June 13th through July 11th when you'll see girls out trying to hustle some more cookies. So, and if anybody's like, hey, I can't find a girl in my area, I have the full list of every troop and I can hook you up with information of troops in your area who will have cookies. So,
Oh, yay.
yes, I got you. I got you.
Oh,
I can make sure you
thanks.
get them.
Oh, good.
I know, who doesn't want frozen Thin Mints in the summer, right?
That's right, exactly. And I tried to buy the knockoff ones. Bleh.
It's not the same. It's not the
Mm.
same. So we have that going on. So that'll be June and July. My troop has secured some spots at some like local events to be at. So that's really fun. But I'm also taking the troop to do an overnight stay at the Newport Aquarium. And they're very excited to sleep amongst the fishes and the sharks.
Ooh,
So
ooh.
yeah.
Stinky, stinky.
Stinky, but I've got a lot of girls who are very interested in marine biology. So
Oh,
this is a
that's
big win for them.
fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the third one is in August we've rented the Girl Scout Whispering Winds property, which is down near Corvallis. It's a big summer camp. So we've rented that for a long weekend, and I'm taking the girls down to do some outdoor camping at a Girl Scout property. And they'll be able to do archery and canoes and low ropes, which is like those challenge rope courses, but it's the one that's only like a foot off the ground, not 20. Um, so yeah, just a lot of opportunities to get the girls out in the community and get them doing some stuff outside of their house so they're not stuck at home all summer.
Mama Ward, you are good.
It's got to get those kids out doing things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my summer. Let me see. Who has not gone yet? I'd pick on Veronica, but she's not here. How about Susanna, have you gone?
I haven't. Let's see. I don't have the only plan I have. It's happening, I think, this week. I think it's not summer yet, but I'm going to say it anyways. We're heading to Boston. I didn't plan it, quite honestly. I just realized I didn't even ask for the correct time off of work, so that request went in today. But yeah, I guess we're flying out Wednesday, like at midnight, or Tuesday at midnight. I don't know, but we're gonna go see a Red Sox and Yankees game. And you know, my husband's a Yankees fan, but my best friend lives in Boston, so I will actually get time to meet her. And she is, you know, a Bostonian, so she is a diehard Red Sox fan. So it will be wonderful. And I've already told my husband that should I need to take sides, I will absolutely pick her over him, and he's okay with that. So we're going there. We're gonna do the Freedom Trail. We're gonna, I guess, see what we can see in Boston while we're there. I've been there before, but I was a broke college student, so didn't get to do a lot. So now we're actually gonna be able to go into some of those paid museums. So it'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, April, did you go yet?
I sure did.
Okay,
I can pop in.
go ahead, Sydney.
I also threw it in the chat, but I'll be making a trip this summer, but mostly just planning on being at the lakes and the rivers and Bend and reading and floating and doing all the water things.
Okay, Adrienne, did you already go?
I could go next. And Sydney, if you have a location that you recommend for floating, let me know in the chat. I'm Adriana Marlin, OEP Central Coordination Team. Let's see. So my plans are just to work and go camping on the weekends, and all the camping, it's coming up. So I'm going to be at the Cape Lookout or Disappointment. It's one of those two. I think Cape Disappointment in 2 weeks. So I'm excited to get more sun and just be outdoors. Thank you.
Okay, Vanessa?
I got a lot going on this summer. So next week I'll be in Miami for my daughter's gymnastics national competition. I moved into my travel trailer 2 weeks ago. So I've been camping full time for 2 weeks and will remain in my trailer till mid-July. So the plan is to enjoy Florida, get as tan as possible in this Florida heat. And then we will be moving up to Philadelphia. Then the rest of my summer will be getting acclimated to our new home, new community, while working at the same time and trying to survive because my kids will get an extra month and a half of summer break. Lucky me.
That's so rude.
Okay, Randy? Dixon?
So my summer plans right now, I've been floating the river quite a bit but the rivers are starting to drop. So it'll switch to spending time on Wallowa Lake. But in the next 30 days, I'm headed to Sisters this week for the Sisters Rodeo. We'll be down there till Sunday because my daughter was their queen last year, and this year we're just going to help. My husband's going to be in the arena with the judges. Destiny will be packing flags, and I guess they gave me security duty of the rough stock riders, which I'm like, I'm not sure. I don't know what part of security duty I should be doing, but and then my daughter's trying out for Miss Rodeo Oregon. So when we get back from Sisters, we have a month to just, well, actually today is exactly a month till her tryout. So we will then spend the rest of 3 weeks getting ready for tryouts.
Busy
Okay.
mom.
Anja?
Hi. A lot of family time. My daughter lives in Santa Barbara, California, and she's having a hard time finding her next housing. So she's gonna come home for the summer and work remotely. So I'm excited to have the whole family together with our 2 cats. Thank you.
Brandy?
Brandy put in the chat that she is going to have to just stick with the chat, but she said, what was it? My summer plans paid month off starting late July, and we'll spend time with friends, family, pets, and relax.
Okay, and who is ORZ096759?
That is me, Lori Bradley. Good
Welcome.
morning. I am one of the applicant portal team managers and decided to go ahead and start joining some these meetings. Excited to be here. My summer plans are just not a whole lot. It's around home, working in my little garden that I started this year. And so, yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm going to do. Just gonna be lazy.
Welcome to the committee.
Thank you.
James?
Yeah, I think Adriana and Sydney, working and then running off on the weekends, go camping, climb Mount St. Helens a few weeks ago. And this past weekend was in Suisun Creek, which is a great place to be in a hot weekend. And it was amazingly not all that crowded. So there's a lot of good swimming holes. But yeah, I only have a few bug bites. But I think that describes my summer plans pretty well. I guess we'll see some friends down in Monterey too in a few weeks as well. But here we are, 11:24, and we probably should move along on the agenda.
Okay, did I forget anybody?
I think we got everyone.
Fine. Okay, guys, we have a very long agenda. Gonna try to put everything in our amount of time. So, James, I hand it over to you.
Well, and now I'm going to hand it over to Samantha.
Oh, hey guys, it's me. I know it's been a while since I've done this. Somebody approved Andrew to take time off to spend with his family, and I don't know who did that, but that's rude. No, definitely want folks to feel like they can take time off and get out and go have fun. So he's visiting with family, and I hope he has a wonderful time. And Veronica's been having some problems getting into Zoom. So I will say that I have been trying to, if you guys have seen my face doing like weird things, it's because I've been trying to jam all this information into my head as quickly as I can during our icebreaker. So Please bear with me. I apologize. But let's get into our recap. So we have request 35. This was our kind of multi-part big move around canceling appointments and allowing people to indicate when a good callback is and all that goodness. We have no further action needed. Request 35 has moved in entirely except for the final part, which was 35E, which was adding the appointment functionality for the mobile app. That actually got added into our change request, which you guys may remember are those bigger, larger scale changes. It got added to the change request for self-scheduling and applicant portal. That one's going to go live in March 2026. And I believe that is the first OOIC CR to go in. So we should be seeing that 9 months. Oh my gosh, time is running fast. So yeah, in the next 9 months from now, we will have self-scheduling, kind of like you have when you're trying to schedule with your doctor's appointment or schedule a vaccination at CVS or Walgreens, that sort of situation. So I know, funny when 9 months seems fast. That is breakneck speed when it comes to system development. So yeah, we'll have a fully functional self-scheduling within the next 12 months for everybody. And absolutely thanks to this group to get it triaged until we could get that bigger change in, and then for pushing so strongly on that bigger change. Request 50 was adding the ERDC waitlist status to the applicant portal and the mobile app. It was going to be in March. It's now in May, so it's already gone into the web. Currently, we're not able to push changes into the mobile app due to some changes in stateside infrastructure. We will be resuming changes into the mobile app. Fingers crossed, July. So web's good. Mobile app is on pause for right now. I think we can go to the next slide, James. Continuing to recap, the change to fix the program name RARE from research to resource. It's funny how calling things by their correct name is really vital when you're communicating information. Well, funny that. It's been logged and it's going to go in the June 11th build. RARE was, I believe, an income type. So having that correct program name is part of that income type. So people who have income from RARE can actually log it correctly. Request 64 to add some more information around AVS description and consent. It's scheduled for November 2025, and we're currently working with our analysts from the team that works on AVS to make sure that we can implement this in a way that matches both what the customers need, get them what they need, but also the legal requirements around capturing that consent. So Andrew's been working really hard with that team to kind of find the middle ground for everyone. It's currently scheduled for 2025, and there's nothing else we need to do right now. If there are any changes, we will bring those back to this group to look at. Because you guys are kind of the best way for us to know how the public's going to receive information. Request 71. We determined that one not asking for annual income for individuals who are 65 and older was in fact a defect. So you guys may remember we have change requests. That's a big change. Work item, that's a small change. The third one is defect. And sometimes we think that we're seeing something in the system that we really don't like. And we're like, oh, it shouldn't be like that. I hate it. Let's do a work item. And then Andrew, Veronica, and I can actually go in and go like, oh, actually, we designed the system correctly. It was not developed correctly, or something got broken in that development. So we get a free fix. We don't have to spend one of our limited work items on it. We can just tell Deloitte, hey, I'm going to need you to honor your warranty on this. You didn't do it right. This fell into those piles of defects where we're having them uphold their warranty that they have developed the system correctly. So it should be fixed. I believe it goes in on Wednesday when we will see this fixed for individuals. So that's going to help with those eligibility determinations. Oh my gosh, there's so much to recap. You guys, we've been getting a lot done. Request 72 was adding an open text field on unearned income. So that's income that's not from a job. I really hate the term unearned income. It doesn't, you've earned it, you're just not getting it from a job. So right now there's income types that you can select. There's a million of them. If you've been into the system anytime in the last 4 years, you'll be flabbergasted how many options there are. One of them is other income taxable. Another one is other income non-taxable. And those are super vague, right? Like that's not meaningful information. This group decided that we should add an open text field so that individuals who are selecting those income types can give a little more information about what the income is. That'll help the worker, but also what the next time they go in to use their portal to report a change, to do their renewals, to apply for other programs, they also remember what that was, right? Because now they have a description that they've added. That's going in the July 9th build. So next month we'll have that up and running. And the last one, oh, again, a defect. We love this. Where we had two different terminologies going on, one of them on the portal and one of them on the PDF that we use to basically provide a receipt of all the information that when individuals are using their portal that they have seen and said and responded to us, the information that they gave us. We were using two different words for the same thing. So that's not great. Because then that's not a true receipt, right? So given the choice between preferred CCO and CCO selection, this committee chose preferred CCO. So that change is going to go into the November 5th build. I know that one's way out there, but that's when it's going. So we should see a fix after November. November 4th is my birthday, so I'm just going to call this a birthday present for me. They're doing me a little present. A little bit late though. I don't like that. All right, next slide. Actually, I'm going to stop for a second. Any question about any of those? Because we just went through like 3 slides super duper fast.
Yes, Samantha, this is George. Going back to number 50.
Number 50. Yes.
Okay, add ERDC waiting list status to applicant portal and mobile app. Is it going to the applicant portal or is it going to the mobile app? And if it's going to the mobile app, how is the ERDC going to work in the mobile app?
So great question, George. So this is just the status of where they are on the wait list. The mobile app and the applicant portal, the one online portal, think of them as 2 doors to the same room, right? All they're doing is displaying the same information. So that would be the room. It doesn't matter what door you go in, you open up that door, you see the same information. So it will be going into the one online portal and the mobile app. It's just going to display on when they get logged into the app. They see there's like a moving my hands like this. You guys can't see what I'm trying to outline here, but there's like a dashboard on their landing screen when they log into the app. And it's just going to have that information. If they have applied for ERDC and they're on the waiting list, it's just going to show them what their current status is. And it just does that the same way it would on the website. It's going to go out to the database, look at the status, pull it back, and just display it.
Now, the next question to this question is, there's 2 types of apps now that are out. One for the phone, one for the tablet, and one for the computer. Will this work on the computer app as well?
For the computer, it's a website, which I suppose you could call an app. Yeah. So it will be on both. It'll be on the computer. It'll be on their phones.
And they can get this on their tablet too.
Yes. Yep.
The tablet uses the one online portal, I assume, like the website.
It can. there is a way to get the mobile app to work on tablets. It's just not very user friendly. So most people who are accessing through tablets will use the website. They'll use the ONE online portal.
And here's another interesting question. Because of October 14th, where Windows will change its format, where now you'll have to be on Windows 11. Is there going to be any changes that this will be able to adapt to Windows 11 from October?
I haven't done a deep dive on the analysis of the change, George. It usually comes down to which browsers the website is able to use, and the ONE online portal is compatible with all modern browsers, basically everything since Internet Explorer 8, which was, gosh, you guys, over a decade ago, right? So I'm not anticipating any issues, but I can touch base with our infrastructure team and confirm that they're confident as well.
Because it's getting really close to October when Windows 10 will have to be discontinued.
Yeah. Well, I can say that my personal computer is a Windows 11 machine, a Windows 11 laptop, and I can access the portal without issues. So I presume it's going to be the same, but it is something that we do monitor and track, George. So that's a good call out.
Okay. Anybody else wants to ask questions to Sam?
All right. Well, we get to keep Sam a little bit on the hot seat.
More Sam.
And well, as I always say, it's usually the Andrew show, but
I know.
Now do you want to go through this, or should we go? I mean, this is where we get to do our deep dive. You want to switch over to the briefing sheet?
Actually, can we look at slide 7 first, James? Just because
Okay.
this one's an
Oh
easy
yeah,
one.
that's good. Good call.
Really no conversation here. We had logged request 78, which was to update the reCAPTCHA and verification process prior to accessing the username and password. You guys did like really phenomenal work. And we did collect all of those, all that feedback, and we were just about to file it. And then our agency communications team was like, hey, actually, hold up, guys, because we want to completely rework this entirely, top to bottom. So we have provided the feedback this committee already landed on to the communications team, and they're going to make some other changes. So we're holding off just a little bit on this one to kind of have those go in sync, because we don't want to make a change and then a few months later have them go change it all again, right? Let's save our precious work items and let communications take our recommendations and push them forward in a holistic way. It just makes the user experience a little more seamless if it looks like it was all designed at the same time, shockingly. So yeah, this one's going to be on pause, but the feedback from this group has been relayed. All right, we can go back to 6 now. And this one, I've been trying to wrap my brain around because I think we came back, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we came back from the last OIC meeting with a couple of ideas that we wanted to explore with this request. I think we were even saying we might have to split it out into multiple requests because of the way we wanted to handle this. Am I remembering that right, guys?
I think so.
I thought we decided we were going to make some updates to the help text, and also we were going to move the remove member button to make it a little more obvious and make more sense. So if I'm remembering all of this correctly, that means we're going to talk through the briefing sheet correctly. So let's go ahead and flip to that briefing sheet.
All right.
And you might see me turn to the right a little bit now because I have the briefing sheet up on my second monitor, And this way, I don't have to make James scroll up, scroll down, scroll up, scroll down a million times. So, has anybody had, I know that you guys all have busy lives. I certainly have a very busy life as well. But has anybody had the opportunity to read through the information that was provided here that kind of outlines these different statuses?
Yeah, there's a lot of screenshots and a lot of pages here.
Okay. Since I'm not hearing people be like, yeah, Sam, I totally read through that and I'm way on top of it. I think maybe what we'll have to say is let's give that as homework because we want to ensure that as we're adding things to help text, that people know what the different values mean and we can word them in a way that makes sense. Or I choose, and then you guys, I mean, you guys all have seen what happens when I choose because that was what the website was when it launched. If you used it, you've read something that I chose the wording on, very likely, and I'm okay, I'm not great. So I think that it would be better if folks can read through request 77 and get an understanding because we want to make sure that what the help text that we add makes sense. But it looks like we are adding help text in two places. The first place is why is Rory living with Serenity? So it's always in relation to the head of household, right? So if James and I are applying for benefits together, one of us has to be the head of household, the primary applicant. It has nothing to do necessarily with, you know, it all comes down, quite frankly, to the person who fills out the application. So let's say I'm head of household and in my house is James and Maria and George. So for each person, it's going to say, is James living with Samantha? Is George living with Samantha? Is Maria living with Samantha? It's not going to do the sort of like, is George living with James? Because I'm the head of household, so that builds our filing group. It builds our group and it's centered around me as the head of household, right? So it's going to ask, is James living with Samantha? And we're going to add some help text here that's going to explain a little bit more about what that means and why we're asking that question. And the ways to answer it. So yes, part-time, what does that mean? And some examples. No, temporarily away, what that means, etc. And really tease out those examples.
So yeah,
And
we've got three of these situations. I'm going to speak to give Samantha's brain time to catch up to. But yeah, this is the first of three, no temporarily away. The second of three is, I think, yes, part-time. The third of three is no. And at the end of each section, we have what is in, or when you click this, what you see for the help text, or no, it's at the very end, actually. I guess it's the same for all three, so that makes sense. So if we go to the very end, you can see the screenshots of the actual help text. And then it's the screenshots, and then it's actually written out.
yeah.
Right here.
So I think part of our ask here is to determine, hey, do we like what's on this help text, or does it need to be different, right? Because I think, oh yeah, you've scrolled down to it perfectly. So page 7 gives the help text for those two questions, and we need to ensure that this help text is actually useful and meaningful.
I did not. Oh, I guess the formatting got away from me here, so I have to scroll down a ways to.
No, scroll back up. Let's not talk about that part yet, James.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, let's keep on the
Oh
help
yeah,
text.
select all values are true. There's nothing there. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That is all that help text says. So,
Okay, Vixen says her family's always asking if it hurts them if one parent is not living at home.
It doesn't hurt them per se, but it can, depending on the program, it can change what is counted, how many people are counted as in the household and needing benefits, what income is counted. It can create some complexities, Vixen, depending on the program.
So
Oh, go ahead.
For myself, I can only help ask me, like technically it doesn't affect them for their medical because they're just doing medical, and that parent living in Alaska for 4 months or whatever. So does it, and then their question is, do we have to come in and update it when they move back? And so I guess I always wondered if this question just pertains to, like, say, food stamps or a different program, why does it calculate when we're doing just medical? Because like when we start the application and it says, are you applying for, and we say just medical, and then this question will still come up. So I guess that's where I'm asking, does it hurt them when a parent isn't living there, even though according to their tax household, they are a household?
Right. It doesn't hurt them, but it is information that is used when building the household for all programs. So we need this information even for medical,
Okay.
even though per the taxes, they're a household.
Okay.
Yeah. It can get a little bit weird with the non-Magi medicals around this. And we don't know at this part of the application if they are in a non-Magi medical program or if they're in a Magi medical program. Remember, the non-Magi doesn't necessarily use the tax filing group, right?
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah, it can get weird. So we ask it for everybody. It's
Okay.
with medical, it's not with Magi medical, it's not going to hurt them, but it is information we need.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it gets weird with like SNAP, and I will tell you guys that I have not thought about policy in over a decade, so I couldn't tell you how it impacts one way or another. I'm not a policy analyst, don't think about it. But it can have impacts if they're temporarily away or part-time.
Sam, this is George. From what I'm gathering from Vixen, and when it comes to this here, this is going to be pretty sticky when it comes to food stamps.
It is.
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah. So, that said, because this can become sticky, what would we want to put or change in this help text, if anything, to help people understand how to utilize this question?
Well, there's nothing no one can do if it's the federal law.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that becoming a big problem.
Well, that's true, but we can give people the whys, right? We can help them understand how to answer the question. We can give them the why the question's being asked. We can be instructive. Currently, people are using this question, flipping that yes to other values when they're actually trying to remove someone from the case. So we can add information like, if you're trying to remove them from the case, don't change this button. Instead, take this action. There are a couple of different things we can do in this help text to help clients utilize the system in a way that's going to make sense, and they feel like they have agency in this. They know what's happening and why it's happening.
Why don't we put something in there when it comes to SNAP, and then have the state check on their new regulations on SNAP before giving them the real answer?
So you're suggesting that we would say, like, for SNAP, if somebody is temporarily away from the home, they would not be eligible or something like that?
No, something that's not gonna be. This is gonna be hard to word.
Yeah, I agree.
Because as it turns out on food stamps, they're trying to take all the sweeteners and stuff out of food stamps. No sugar, no soda, nothing. Just regular food, fruits, and vegetables.
Well, not here. I'm not trying to do that, so.
I'll let. Okay, guys, what would you suggest on food stamps like this?
So if you were a customer, and many of you are, or you helped customers coming through this, and you were looking at this question of, is James living with Samantha? What would you want to know? What would make this what would be helpful information for you when you're faced with the options of yes, yes part-time, no temporarily away, and no?
I'm gonna scroll back to the beginning of this.
And if we're not ready to answer this question yet today, people want to digest the briefing sheet, because I know it's, you guys, we can certainly make it a homework for you guys to kind of brainstorm, like what would be truly helpful for you and the people you work with. Maybe you want to think about, I often, think about aged family members, like how would they receive this? What would help them be able to answer this? Without having to call me and say, Samantha, what does this mean? Because not everybody has my phone number to call me and go, Samantha, what does this mean?
So that, cool. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, James. We took a breath at the same time. So I'm thinking if I was an applicant selecting my choice, I would want to know the details of what temporarily away means for no. And I don't know if you're able to explain how that would change things as opposed to someone just saying, oh, yes, Serenity's still living with us. I hope that makes sense, but I would want to know why being honest and saying no temporarily away is important to, be honest and true about that, as opposed to saying like, oh, it's just temporary. Let me just put yes.
I agree with you 100%. That is exactly what I was thinking. Is that what are the consequences for me answering this question?
Yes, exactly.
Couldn't you put no temporary away and give them 6 months to give you a real answer?
But this is a real answer.
Well, there again, with food stamps, we're running up against the federal laws being changed for SNAP.
Well, we have to wait and see too.
Samantha, I think
like
Oh.
where it has more information than it ever used to have. I mean, I feel like we have a lot more information than it ever used to have, which I think will help community members feel less confused of why they need to answer this question.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to just say that these 4 options, they make sense. I think, depending on which one the client chooses, does it impact their, like we're asking these 4 questions because it's going to impact the eligibility.
Right.
Determination, right? So
and they're afraid of that. Yeah.
So how can we make the consumer feel comfortable instead of being uptight?
Well, you got
Maybe adding the word please, like please respond appropriately because of what Maria just said, because your answer, could change how much money you're awarded, etc.
Rather than just saying this may impact your eligibility determination.
Yeah, like a softer way to say that, but yes.
Mm.
So Sam, you want us to go over this and you want this back on the next meeting, right?
Yep. If you guys can just kind of read over this first part, brainstorm on all the information, because there's a lot. Andrew gave you guys so much information, you guys. Brainstorm on like what the high level bullet points would be, right? Like what do we need it to say? I think I heard that we need people to understand why they're answering this question, why it's important to answer it truthfully. I heard some asks for like potentially when they need to come in and change it, understanding that. So if we can have everybody just kind of like figure out what their high level bullet points would be.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
I have a question. If you would roll back down, please. Scroll. Okay. So, if we put no, temporarily away working, how does that feel?
No.
No? Did I hear no?
There could be other options.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, temporarily away, yeah, it could be are they in jail? What?
So that's a great call out, Judith. The next question is why is Rory listed on the case? And these values change depending on which of these four yes part-time, no, temporarily away, or no that they select. So it kind of gets to that second level of it, right? Like no temporarily away for employment and training. No temporarily away for education. No temporarily away because they flew home to take care of their sick mom, that sort of stuff. They're allowed to select some of that. Some of these answers are a little bit, I don't know, they're not really customer friendly, right? Like I barely understand how you would answer child returning from foster care. How is that temporarily away? I don't get it. You know, I know Andrew came in here and gave more information about what these values mean. So maybe that's something we want to add into the help text for the second question, because that also does not, all it says is select all that apply. It doesn't give any of this information about what these values even mean. So we have the two help texts, right, that we really need to figure out what we want to add, what information we want available.
Samantha, will you help to clarify what our homework is again?
Yes. If everybody can read through which pages here. Let me give useful and actionable.
Starting on
homework.
page 4.
Yeah, page 4 through let's say page.
I think it goes all the way to 11.
Page 8. Let's do page 8 because I think from there on we can have a conversation that it didn't require as much reading. So page 4 through page 8. Read through it and then there's two help text areas. There's two questions that we're going to add help text to. Tell me what would be useful in the help text. What elements, you don't have to write it out, though you can. I do love somebody writing it all out for me. That's very helpful. But if you can just like put the bullet points of like, this is the information that would be helpful for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the kind of things I want to see in this. And so we can bring that back next month and figure out what elements we need to include and start drafting that language. I think that would be helpful.
Okay, my friend, we have to have a break.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Dion, please put this for the next meeting. I would suggest that that James, you could send this to us and put the label on it as what Sam was suggesting, so we know what pages to go to.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. So there will be it's a little bit of a two-step dance here because, we figure out what's in, what the text should be for these info boxes. And if you're ambitious, you can go to the next step of thinking about, well, what about all these options here that you get for each of these answers?
Right.
All right. But
okay, Dion.
Yep.
What time will we be back?
So we'll be back 12:12. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, turn the recorder off.
And we're back.
Hi, guys. Thanks for a break. Okay. It's now to you, James, on request 79.
Yeah, well, I'll put the briefing sheet back up and then do what I like to do and kick it over to Samantha.
Thanks, James. All right. Oh yeah, this one. Fantastic. So let me see. This one actually came from we had a new member of my team, the customer experience cohort team, who was going through and trying to acclimate herself to the ONE system. She actually came from she was a business analyst on the provider time capture program, if any of you are familiar with that software. She recently joined our team, and because she wasn't familiar with ONE, she was kind of acclimating herself to it. And let me tell you, fresh eyes, amazing, phenomenal. So as she was walking through the application, she was like, hey, what do these alternate format options mean? They don't make a whole lot of sense to the average person. Like, how do I know the difference and what it means to select text compact disc versus text USB thumb drive? Great call. So we brought this, I feel like a couple of months ago is when we first brought this up. And we're just working on suggested language for these values at this point. We have provided a couple of suggestions of how we can reword the drop-down options to make them make more sense for customers, so that they can select the alternate format option that they need for their notices that come out of the system. Currently, you can see what we currently display on the left side of the grid there. It says current text, and the options are large print, braille, oral presentation, text USB thumb drive, text compact disc, audio compact disc, audio USB thumb drive, audio tape, and computer disc with a K. We've pulled together some suggestions and would love feedback from this group on whether these suggestions make sense or if we need to pivot and make some changes to really make sure that customers know what they're selecting. Because it's very important that people can receive and understand and consume the information in the notices that we mail them. So first one, large print. We didn't have any suggestions on how to rephrase this. We thought that large print made sense. Pausing for a moment for anybody to disagree with me or agree with me.
How would you?
Here I am agreeing and I'm on mute. Yes, I agree. Yes.
Thank you, Judith.
George, were
Okay.
you going to say something?
Yeah, Sam, I'm going to suggest when it comes to Braille large print, I would suggest getting with the blind community for that. They can give you more of a presentation, more of a what's going to work and what's not going to work on that, on the Braille and large print.
Okay, George, not to make this contradictory, but both of these communities are my community, and the large print is very self-explanatory. I know if Ruth was here, she'd be going, yes, large print. And Braille is there is no description for Braille. That's pretty much what it is.
Oh,
Yeah, uh-huh. So I think that's pretty clear. Some of the others, for me, would be a little bit more difficult, but yeah.
All right. Well, we'll walk through them and we'll decide if we want to reword them. Moving down, the next option is oral presentation, which objectively makes no sense. So we're suggesting to reword this as read written materials to me.
And Maria, you put something in the chat too. What do you?
I'll I was just thinking maybe we could use the word spoken, and then I was just wondering, how will it be how will this oral presentation be presented? Like, let's say, for example, like, are they going to just give them a call and they will just read it out loud to them? Or are they going to, have an audio recorded I'm just trying to picture how that's gonna, yeah.
That's a great question. That's a great question, Maria. Sorry, I got distracted reading what Dion wrote. Oral presentation, we do call you and read your notice. So maybe we need to rephrase this one, tweak it just a little bit to be like, call me and read my notice to me. Is that,
Okay.
do we like that better?
We can think about it.
Let me figure out how I want to take notes. Should have been prepared.
Sam, with these formats, how would someone sign for what they read?
For these formats, how would somebody sign? We would, so for written materials for oral presentation, George, we could have the individual who's reading the notice to them, if it's something they need to sign in return, they could engage our verbal signature process where they can record, they can do a recording basically that serves as a signature.
Oh.
I know, right, Judith?
I didn't know that we had that.
We have that.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
For like USB thumb drive, sending it in a PDF. Again, I think, if it's something that needs a signature, it would be print, sign and send back, or digital sign and send back. For the audio formats, it might get a little bit sticky here, and I have been not in field services for such a long time that I cannot recall how we deal with somebody who we have presented something they have to sign and return on an audio format. I just honestly can't recall right now.
And do people still use floppy disks?
Shockingly, Judith, this is going to flabbergast you, but we found people who are still actively using it, so we're still producing them.
Whoa.
I know. We actually audited because we did modify some of the options, and we did an audit, and we found people who are still using cassette tape and who are still using 3.5-inch floppy disk.
Well, Sam, if it's going to be on USB drive, PDF, written materials on compact disc, the only thing I see that would be beneficial is if someone's got a tablet that comes with a pin that brings up the PDF and you can sign your name and send it by email. I have one of those. Now there is computer screens, which are touch screens on new computers. You guys can see if you can do it that way. Sign your name on touch screens.
Yeah, I mean, once the individual has received it, received the file from us, if they have a touch screen, they can absolutely do that and send it back. There's no restrictions here. This is just a drop down for them to select how they want to receive those notices. It doesn't drive it doesn't drive anything around how they can sign and turn it back in. It's just them saying, this is how I want to get my notices, my letters from the state. Or I guess from ODHS.
I have my tablet with the pen.
What if this person doesn't know what they're doing and they start checking everything? Like, oh, I don't know, maybe I need a compact disc. Maybe I need a thumb drive too, an audio tape. I'm just going to check them all and see what they give me.
You always come up with the
weird
the question I didn't think of. So hold on just a second. Let me open this where I think this is, because I want to say that this is a single select. They can only choose one, but I don't want to tell you that for sure until I've actually looked, and I wasn't ready because Judith, you are really good at finding the one that I didn't prepare to answer.
Susan, do you remember this as only choosing one?
It's a radio button. It's only choosing one.
Okay.
Thank you, Susan, for confirming. Appreciate you. Yeah, so they can only choose one. They can't get too wild with this one.
Okay, good. That's good. That's good.
Yes. Oh, could you imagine if it was multi-select and then we had to send them out in all those different formats? It would cost the state a lot of money.
That would be something I would have done. So that's why I don't know what answer to make. So I'm just going to answer everything.
On computers, to give you a heads up, Sam, some computers will accept with certain programs with the USB drives and some won't because of certain programs. I found that out.
So if they can't do in a USB, can they just choose another one, George? Like computer?
Yeah, because I had what is called SKU thumb drive. And that won't work on my computer programming. But an 81.5 thumb drive would work perfectly on my thumb drive for me to bring up because the computer program accepts it.
So a person could answer what they think's going to work and they would get it and it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And so then they need to call and make a different choice.
Yeah, they could call us and let us know, hey, actually this doesn't work. And staff can reissue that notice in a different way. They can, have the conversation. Okay, the USB didn't work. Let's talk about what else might work differently or might work better. Maybe it's the compact disc, maybe oral presentation's just the best option for you. What's going to work, and then ensure that they can get that notice in a way that
So if that process does happen, how are they going to call you? Should we put something in here that says, if the provided item that you choose does not work, please contact your caseworker or whatever? I mean, I don't know what you want to say.
No, that's a good call, Judith. Let me think about that one. Let me take a little note and think about how we can add that in. These questions are worded in a way that is highly dictated by some of our Oregon administrative rules. So I gotta
Yeah.
figure out the right way to do it, like maybe
Sure.
on a help text or something, slip it in there, but that's a good call out. Okay. Susan asked, what if you want large print on a USB drive? Great question, Susan. My inclination, though I could be wrong, would be that the zoom feature, the zoom in,
Yeah.
zoom out.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Of
would
the
be on,
PDF would need it.
on their computer. They would just zoom in and zoom out. They have a large print option on their computer, so they can enlarge it themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judith, because I was guessing, but
No,
good
no,
to know.
that's what they do.
All right. Cool. Okay, so oral presentation, we've had a couple of ideas come back. How about text USB thumb drive? Rather than letting people select text USB thumb drive, let them select an option that says provide written materials on a USB drive in a PDF file. I'm watching Susan nod, and I hope it's about this. And now she's saying, do I want to? For text compact disc, we're saying provide written materials on a compact disc. Spelling error, that should be DISC. Yeah, in a PDF file. So it's very similar in syntax. It just changes the mode that they're receiving, be it USB drive or compact disc. For audio, it's kind of the same, right? We've done provide audio format on a compact disc in an audio file and provide audio format on a USB drive in an audio file. Does audio format make sense here?
It does. It depends on the programming that's inside of each computer.
Provide audio format on a cassette disc. That feels very.
That's really. I know.
I feel like we're going back.
In the olden days.
Back in the olden days, when the way that you got the newest single was to have a cassette ready to record off of the radio, and you hope the DJ didn't speak over the first 30 seconds of the song. Oh.
Some of those are collector items now, so.
Oh gosh.
I have a better understanding of your youth, Samantha.
Okay, so we're okay with that one. And provide written materials on a 3.5-inch floppy disk in a PDF file. I'm seeing Maria say all of their suggestions seem good.
No, I'm okay with it. It's just I didn't know they still made the floppy disk.
It costs us a lot of money to get floppy disks for this. I will say that, George. We would love everybody to move off, but we also need to ensure that people can get their notices in a way that they can receive them. And so if people truly, the only choice they have is to get it on a floppy disk, we're going to put it on a floppy disk until the very final person says, I don't need floppy disk anymore. Yeah, we're just going to meet those needs. So I think the only one we didn't really like, we want to take back to the drawing board, and I've documented our suggestions, our oral presentation. We didn't really like read written materials to me. I had too many questions left. So we'll take that one back to the drawing board and come back with some new options.
Sounds good.
Just to vote on this, Sam?
Yeah, do we want to tentatively vote on it?
Oh, I don't know.
Just say I don't know, Judith. Like,
I was just saying, I don't know. Do we need to vote on it, George?
Well, do we want to move forward with it? Is this something that we want to do?
I'm ready. How about you, George?
Yeah, let's vote on it.
Mhm.
Maria said, good suggestions. She's for it. Maria Park. Vixen said, yes. She's good with it. Susan said Susan, you're okay with this?
Susan just provided a really interesting suggestion.
And then like audio format sounds weird.
Yeah.
I kind of like the way you put it, Susan. Audio format was tripping me up as I read it as well. Provide an audio of notices on a compact disc in an audio file. Or
maybe like a audio recording.
Yeah, provide an audio recording of notice on a compact disc. Provide an audio recording of notices on a USB drive. Provide an audio recording of notices on a cassette tape. I like that. I think that sounds really good.
So Susan, are you with this? Yes? Okay. April, you with this? Okay, Judith, you with this?
Absolutely.
Sydney?
Yep.
Okay, Vanessa?
Looks good.
Maria Gomez? Maria Parks?
I did add a couple of things in chat about maybe if we changed it to that oral presentation to read out loud or spoken written materials by phone call, some a little more kind of specific. I don't know if that will be more helpful or make more sense. And then the other part was if we could maybe have like a brief title and then that explanation or description, just like this chart, I kind of feel like will also be helpful rather than just if we just had, because I think it's just like we have to like we're gonna give them the option to choose it, so then they're just gonna choose the description.
Yeah, we could do it so that it says like text USB thumb drive hyphen provide written materials on a USB drive in a PDF file. So that they get the technical like terminology that a worker would use, but then they also get a description that is in non-technical terms.
Right. Okay.
I like
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. I liked a lot of your suggestions around oral presentation. And I did take a note of them, Maria, because I think you were on the right path. Maybe we could do like
Oh,
go ahead, James. Sorry.
I'm just gonna say, maybe it incorporates getting the call.
Yeah.
Call me and read aloud.
Oh, yeah. That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds real good. Yeah, call me and read. Yeah.
Okay, Vanessa, are you with this?
Yeah, she said yes earlier.
Okay, I didn't see it. Okay, who am I missing?
I said yes.
Okay. Inja, you okay with this?
So we are not going to have the current text anymore. Is that correct? So we are choosing either current, so there will be no current text displaying it. It's going to change it to suggestions once we kind of decide the final one.
I think, based on Maria Park's feedback, we were going to do both. We were going to do like a hyphen. So it would say like oral presentation hyphen call me and read aloud, so that they would get the technical name and the suggestion. They would get both parts of it.
Okay, because I was wondering if we can do just like other questions, we do have the question mark and you can click that and then the explanation kind of come up. So just keep it really simple as a current text and kind of do it maybe pop-up window. I just, because it seems like that a lot of wordings there. Just very quick thinking.
That's true.
I'm trying to look at the format for this. I don't know that we could put a help text on each option based on how it is formatted on the screen.
But not for the each option, just on the main question and
on the main question.
and then yeah, if you click the pop-up window, it'll explain everything in that one box.
Yeah, we could do that. Is there a preference of doing it as part of the name versus doing it as the help text?
Just to keep the application simple, so because some people may not need to have this like explanation of everything, so just keep it like, it's simple. But I'm okay with what others are suggesting too, but just to kind of have it more simple format. It'll be nice too.
Okay, so we're all in agreement, correct?
Well, I'm starting to think we need to show, give a couple options like Inja's example, which I really appreciate because the inclination for everyone is, oh, we've got to explain it more, so it gets longer, and longer is a problem. And so having a lot of this in a help text would prevent that from happening. But maybe we need to mock it up to show you how it looks.
Okay,
And
so I
just for the flow, because that's what we are doing with other questions. Like if the member needs more explanation, they can go to the question mark and So I wasn't sure why this one that we just write out everything rather than doing it just like with other questions that if they need help understanding it, they can go to that box to kind of understand it more.
Sam, we're on time. Can we move this to the next meeting?
Yep, I'll take an action item to pull together those mock-ups so that we can have them and we can land on where we want to go with this. Sounds good.
Okay, Dion, this will be on our next meeting. Where'd he go?
I got it, George.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we're having so much fun with that we have come to the time where we need to move on to some of our other items. So we'll come back next month to request 80, which update document upload guidance language in the ONE portal, which sure is a yummy request. But we wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about another request that this group made about discussing the feedback surveys we've been getting. And I, just between the middle of January and the middle of May, we've gotten 4,000 people who have responded to a feedback request. When you log out of the ONE system, you're given the option, hey, do you want to say how, I forget the exact wording of the question, but you want to fill out a survey to say how the ONE system was. And so almost 5,000 people have filled out that survey. But when I start looking at the data, it's a lot. And so along with your materials that went out Thursday evening, there was this, That was the actual survey. Now, if you scroll all the way to the end, this is the English survey. We also have the Spanish survey. But you can see the questions. And I'm just going to let you know up front, there's no open-ended questions. So we're dealing with, just choose these things. So a lot of, there'll be a few people who chose all 4 of these. Many people who just choose like OHP and SNAP. And then how useful was the survey? Did you use any of the online tools? And most people have an answer, but a lot of people, of course, say they didn't use any of the tools. And the tools are like, Samantha, how would you describe the tools here, I guess?
Like the printed guide on how to create their account, I think. Or
Okay.
there's a number of videos that were put out by communications that kind of walk through account creation and how to find your notices, that sort of stuff.
Oh, and probably like the help bot, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The chat bot, yep.
The chat bot, rather. And how easy is it for the one account to use and understand? Not surprisingly, these tend to have pretty similar responses from a given person. And then how frequently do you use your one online account? And if we're just looking at the surveys from people who were just in the one account, we're, of course, I haven't looked at this data closely at all, but what's your preferred way to understand status of your benefits? These are from people who just logged out of the one system. So, anyway, and I also threw in, this is the data that also comes out. It pulls, I don't know, we don't know who filled it out, but we do know the time they did it, the language, English or Spanish, their age in a bracket, like, I forget the exact brackets, but it's like 20 to 30, 30 to 40, things like that. And gender, if they're transgender, their sexual orientation. And Judith, when you were talking earlier about people who might click on all the different things, there are 61 racial categories, and there was one person that took the time and clicked through every single one of these, which is a level of dedication that was probably unnecessary. But nonetheless, that is an option. Most people, the vast majority of people just click one. There was, and the majority of the remaining people click two and use it properly. But in any case, that is the information that we are collecting. And so, yeah, Maria, a summary data report is helpful. We do have sort of a dashboard, but I like to compare, how certain groups respond in different ways. And so is there something specific that you're curious about that we can pull out of this? Is there a question that you think is of most interest? Because it's a lot of data, and I've played with it for a few hours, and I'm like, I'm not sure how to present it. It's just as I was throwing it at my coworkers, they were like, along with myself, it's sort of melting my brain. So just wanted to look for a way to narrow the scope a little bit.
James, I was going to say, like, it would be interesting to find out how many people, like a pie chart or something, or a graph of like how many was receive help with TANF or SNAP or OHP, and just kind of seeing a comparison, right? Or all of these questions I am curious about. Just kind of a summary of what the results were. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like, let's see, I think we even have something like that was created by someone else to sign in for it.
Well, James, I went over this.
Yeah.
it looks great the way it is.
Well, that's the survey itself. It's taking me a moment to bring that up.
Because if someone puts too much work into this, that's a lot of work to give one person to put in data in. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Let's see. Back up. I should have had this a little more ready then. But yeah, we can make sure and get Maria your suggestion about just the breakdown of which programs were have been selected. Absolutely. Anything else?
Oh,
Okay.
anybody's got an opinion on this before we move on? Okay, do you want our vote, James?
Well, I wouldn't even put this as that specific just yet. I think we can just move on to our other wrap up things. Although there is one other item that's been floating out here for a little bit that Judith brought up a little while back. And that is the idea of having a flyer that you can share with community. And I think that was, I'm not sure if it's accessible off the agenda, but if you if you do look at that, this is something I just threw together really quickly. So Judith, since this was originally your idea, any comments on this?
Well, I thought it was a great idea, but it doesn't, it says what we are, vision and our mission and our membership and our history. But what does it really say what we do? What is the Oregon One Line Improvement? What is that?
Excellent question. What do we do, group? Besides talking about our summer activities.
We give opinions and suggestive ideas. And then whatever the staff wants to do.
So we make an impact on the one line system in making changes to make it more user friendly, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that part of our responsibility on the committee is to make decisions as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're taking suggestions from you, from staff, from the public to make improvements in the one system, in this committee then analyze and really wordsmiths them and prioritizes them. Move forward.
To make the one line system more accessible and easier to understand for consumer or for clients or consumers, whatever we call them nowadays. One never knows.
am able to
I
keep
never
track.
know.
And you always have to think about who's the audience that you're targeting with anything too.
Well, but the people that I would be targeting, they would want to know that. They would want to know. I mean, they're on other councils, other committees. They're involved in they may be a user of the system. So, I just think this would be a way to get people into what we do, because they don't understand that there is this committee out there that is trying very hard to make the one system better. Because everybody, when you say one system, everybody goes, ah, oh yeah. They only, I'm like, come on. This is what we do. If you have complaints, come on board.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do.
Anybody else's idea? April, Susan, Vixen, Brandy, Vanessa, Maria, Ninja?
If I may just interrupt just real quickly, George, I'm sorry. We are a committee. We are trying to make it better for the community, the consumer, the client. And I think that's the thing they need to know, is that that's what we do. We're trying to make this system so that it's better for them. So however anybody can word that, I mean, I would think that online, I think that'd be like the number one bullet, making things better, because that's what we're working on, making it easier for the system to work, for the caseworkers to work with it, to understand what our clients want, to make our clients understand how much easier it is for them to understand it.
Okay. Well, I'll throw a few things together.
So Dion's saying we take suggestions for improvement of the one system to make it more accessible, understanding, and user-friendly. That's very good.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Come lend your voice so that we can make this system work for us rather than working for the system. Oh, you guys are good.
Don't forget Samantha.
Yeah, that's just reading from. Yep.
Yeah. And Dion's hot on the trail here. Take suggestions for the
Okay,
improvement
good.
of the one system to make it more accessible, understanding, and user-friendly. That's very good. Thank you, Dion. Very good.
Yeah, I will say there's probably too many words on this draft, but I figure you start with too many words and it's easier to cut down and add more, but can definitely put in Dion's terms. So we're reaching the end of our time. I'll stop sharing this.
It goes so quickly.
Yes.
I'm suggesting, James, that we move this to next meeting next month.
Yeah.
To work on it some more.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I want to come back to one thing before we wrap up too, is previously when we were talking about the survey, right now, since the one system is only in English and Spanish, the survey is only in English and Spanish right now. There are other surveys, like after you get done with a phone call, that we do those in 4 languages is all, because that's the languages that we support. So I just wanted to throw that out. So and we'll have to start looking at some of that data too. But anyway, yeah, we had I think did some good work. Annie and I definitely have some tasks. Samantha has some tasks.
And we have homework.
And Samantha gave you homework, yes.
George, I see that smirk on your face.
Okay, guys. Well, it's about that time.
All right.
We've got another meeting to go to, so
thanks everybody.
Adjourn and
thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Everybody be safe. Oh, and happy Father's Day.